SEC Championship Weekend finally here, and we're here in Atlanta, presented by Verbo. I got a guy here, former Bulldog, in a week where it's really good to be a former Bulldog, Todd Gurley. You've been in one of these SEC Championship kind of week modes before, so we're out here, we're doing all this, but you're on campus, man. You're in the locker room, y'all are at practice. What's it like gearing up for the SEC Championship?
Well, for me, it was special because I went my freshman year. So, just like everybody else, you'll think you're going to be back year after year, but that wasn't the case. That was my first and my last one. So, it's been so long. I really don't remember, man. But I know it was special. It was special. We was playing Alabama, and, that's the team to beat. Always been the team to beat, So it was definitely a special week.
It was interesting when you were there because you talk about just blasting on the scene as a freshman. And that was kind of an era where you had like the T.J. Yeldons at Alabama, you over there at Georgia. A lot of guys, Leonard Fournette at LSU, a lot of guys as freshmen at the tailback position kind of burst on the scene. And it made people say, whoa, freshmen can do this too. Yeah. I mean, how much do you remember looking around the conference, seeing other freshmen do that?
Most definitely. Just like you said, seeing the T.J. Yeldons, the Kenyon Drakes, the Mike Davises, who else? It was so many, man.
Loaded.
But that Alabama game was specifically special to me because what I was able to do on them, I was like, okay, wow, like this, the NFL might be actually a thing, to actually go over 100 yards against Alabama, which, that doesn't really happen very often, especially 10 years ago. Yeah. So it was definitely special.
When you were kind of building up, you're just a true freshman then. So NFL's still a couple of years down the road, but eventually it happens. It happens in a big way. It happens in a first-round top 10 way.
Yeah.
And you had played in the SEC. You had played at Georgia. So I guess you're as ready as you can get for the NFL. Yeah. But how steep was that transition year one as a rookie?
It was definitely a challenge. More the touchdown factor. For me, I know the yards are going to come, but I love touchdowns. I love touchdowns. So I think it took me about 4 games just to get my first touchdown in the lead. And I probably had 2 100-yard games. And it's like, how you going to have 100 yards? I think I played the Packers or something. I had 150. I'm like, how you going to have 150 yards but 0 touchdowns, So and then I was, coming off an ACL injury, straight from college, coming into rookie year. So just basically just trying to prepare myself, get myself ready for the big league and, try to make an impact on the league, immediately.
The whole injury factor, very few people have gone through it. Very few people have played at that level, period. And then less people have tried to get ready to play at the highest level you can, because basically you're auditioning for the most important job of your life and you're trying to do it and you're trying to make sure you're healthy. So the physical part aside, what does that do to you from the neck up? Mentally, where are you during that time?
Well, I think it's just it's both roles, definitely the mental aspect, because you go from doing any and everything and then you tear your ACL and it's you basically have to retrain your body, retrain the walk to run to just do the basic normal stuff that you took for granted, prior to the injury. But then only that, trying to prove yourself not only to yourself, but not trying to let the team, down. They pick you first round, 10th pick. So you don't want to be no one wants to be a bust. That's always the thing. But, it's football as well, too, especially when you're a top 10 or a top 20 pick or just a first round pick. You're probably going into a situation that's probably not the best. So you're trying to turn around pretty much a whole franchise. But just the mental aspect was just basically not taking days off, grinding. As a competitor, you always want to be in practice. You always want to be, in the game. So it's them trying to hold you back, but you want to, keep going and keep going. But, it's a time and a place for that. And when the time came, I was ready and, was able to try to take advantage of the opportunity.
So to bring it back to Georgia for a second, because, a lot of people are focused on them this week. They're in the SEC Championship. They're ranked number 1, just won a national title last year.
Yep.
How close are you to the program, and how often do you talk to folks over there?
I guess not as close. I'm not gonna keep it honest. I love football, but I don't really pay attention that much, like week in and week out. I'm tapped in like the first 4 weeks, you know, and then after that, it's basketball season now, and you know, I love Georgia to death, but I'm all about my Blue Devils right now for college basketball. But and I live in LA as well, so I'm on, you know, different time zone, 5-hour flight, you know. So, but it's funny you say that. I've actually been back to Georgia more, I guess, in the last 2 years than I, you know, ever was in those 6 years I was playing. So that's always a good feeling.
What's your impression of Kirby Smart, kind of from a distance?
Man, yeah, that guy. You know, that guy. For a guy to be able to be at, what's his 4th year at Georgia?
6th year now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
Yeah, time flies. 3 college playoff appearances. I mean, hey, he's all good in my book. He don't have to win another game at Georgia. I mean, for him to be able to bring a national championship to Georgia after, 41 years, you know, it's impressive. And you can just tell, like, they want to play for him. Not only play for themselves, but, like, he just prepares those guys well, and I just feel like they do a hell of a job to be able to just go out there and play well. And they prepare those guys well to play well.
How wild is it, kind of, even as you and I are talking right here, there's some big news happening in the college football world. They're finally going to expand the college football playoff. When you were there, it was at the very, very outset. They were just about to do the 4-team playoff, and now you're going to have a 12-team playoff. I mean, what if you could have seen that coming? Like, what would that world have been like if you played in a 12-team playoff world? You would have gotten multiple additional chances at the national title.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't have liked that at all.
Really?
Yeah, because now they basically gonna have pretty much an NFL schedule, right? I mean, what's the max games you'll be able to play now?
17.
Exactly. And for free? Well, you got the NIL now, but yeah, I mean, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. But even in high school, I mean, I played, I think I maxed 16 games, but the level of high school, I'm North Carolina 2A football compared to SEC football, like, that's a lot. And let alone, so how many games would it be? Like 4 games between after the conference championship until the championship?
You could have a quarterfinal. You could have a semifinal. You could have a national. Yes, 3 more games.
And the national championship would still be like January 9th-ish. Like
20th now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I'm kind of glad I had my time.
I know our Barrett Salih's kind of on board with that. I'm on board with that. It's good to hear we got Todd Gurley on board with that. It's good of you to join us, man. We appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Interesting take there on the
very
CFP.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Free?
Yeah. That cracked me up. Taking a look right now at the teams with the most wins since 2020. We have Georgia coming in second on that list at 34, only behind Alabama at 36. And then you have Coastal Carolina and Cincy tied at 31.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.